Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today it's awards time. I'm doing the Paxy Awards Tag. So this tag was inspired by the wonderful Pax Panic, who we very sadly lost this year. So Pax, as you may know, did an annual awards video towards the end of each year, where she talked about channels she'd really enjoyed during the year. She had a lovely list of different kind of awards and things like that she would give to channels that she thought were deserving of them. And those Paxy Awards have become certainly a highlight of my viewing year on BookTube. And I know many other BookTubers felt the same way. So it feels like a lovely thing to do to honour Paxy's memory by recreating her award ceremony as a tag. I can't promise that this video is going to be anywhere near as enjoyable or wonderful as Paxy's award ceremonies were, but hopefully it will do honour to her memory. I did not create this tag, I didn't come up with the idea for it, but I was asked to kind of kick it off, which I'm very, very pleased to be doing today. So let me go through the various awards. What I would say is, if you are watching this and you're a booktuber, you are of course invited to do this tag. There are a lot of different awards that I'm going to go through, so you certainly don't need to do all of them, but if you'd like to get involved and name your kind of favourite channels and the awards you would have given them, then please feel free to do so. It would be lovely to see as many people as possible doing this tag. Right, so the first award then is for Best Opening. So for me, the clear winner for this one is a channel I always enjoy, and particularly enjoy the visual style of the channel. And the opening is very much part of that. So the channel is Slime and Slashers, hosted by the fantastic Kelsey. So Kelsey does a wonderful job with both the intros for her videos, but also kind of interstitial slides throughout the videos. They give the style, they give the channel a kind of wonderful nostalgic vibe that really fits well with the kind of content that Kelsey puts up. So Kelsey wins the first award, the Best Opening. Second award is the Creative Paxy. So I'm actually giving this to two different channels. Most of the awards I've managed to narrow down to one channel, but there are two channels I wanted to talk about here. And both of them do creativity in a really subtle and engaging way. So you can make videos that are creative, which are very obviously creative. Have loads of animations and things like that, and just kind of overwhelm you sometimes with their creativity, which can be a fantastic thing. The two channels I want to talk about are much more subtle, but they do things in terms of their editing and use of sound and things like that in their videos that I think just makes their videos even more engaging than they would have been otherwise. So the two channels are Super Blomper and Pastory Time. So I think both of those channels use editing and music and sound effects and things like that in a fantastic way that really enhances my enjoyment of their videos. Next up, another one where I've gone with two different channels for this one. So the award is Tag Extraordinaire, and the two channels I want to go with are Another Bibliophile Reads and Shelley Swearingen. So both of those channels put up tag videos this year that I really, really enjoyed. Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads did his A to Z Hot or Not book tag, which loads of people did, and was just a really, really fun tag to do. So it was just 26 quick fire questions based around the alphabet of different bookish tropes, and it was a really enjoyable video to do, and really enjoyable to watch other people do it as well and see their opinions across a really wide range of different topics. And Shelley did a fantastic video this year talking about BookTube, about her experience of BookTube, and asking different questions about other creators' experiences of BookTube. And it was one of those tags that, again, loads of different people did, and it was really interesting hearing everyone's kind of different views, different approach to making videos, and different experience of being a booktuber. So another fantastic tag. Next award then is the If You Like Me Then award, where the host is supposed to name a channel that they think people who like their content would like as well. So for me, I'm going to go with the channel Another BookTube channel hosted by Nick. So Nick, I think, like me, if I was to say what I think my videos are like, and you may disagree with me on this. So I think my videos are kind of chatty. I think I'm reasonably knowledgeable about stuff, and I talk about quite a wide range of stuff, but in particular stuff that other channels don't necessarily talk about, so books other people aren't necessarily reading and discussing. Nick does that as well. So Nick is incredibly knowledgeable, particularly in kind of like vintage comic books and things like that, and talks about that a lot, but also talks about all sorts of other styles of literature. He's a really engaging host, and clearly a guy who knows a lot about what he's talking about. I sound like I'm bigging myself up now, don't I, and saying that I think I'm engaging and know a lot about what I'm talking about. Clearly those things aren't true, but Nick does, and is well worth a look. Okay, next award then is for Series Extraordinaire. So this one has to go to my favourite series on BookTube. It was my favourite series on BookTube last year, my favourite series on BookTube this year. I think it's a really important part of the BookTube community. That series is Support Small BookTube, hosted by MJ from the channel Reading This Life. So MJ is a fantastic BookTuber, a really good host, and this series is just a wonderful series that, as the title suggests, supports small BookTube channels. So every week, without fail, MJ talks about new channels, talks about the kinds of videos you can see there, and encourages people to subscribe. And that kind of thing is a really big help to people who are starting on their BookTube journey. You know, those first few videos they put up, you put up, can be a bit nerve-wracking. I remember, you know, when I was doing it a couple of years ago, and having the support and encouragement of a bigger BookTube channel can really help. So I do think the Support Small BookTube series by MJ is just a phenomenal series, and a really important one for BookTube generally. Next up, we have the Funniest Paxy Award. So this one, it goes to Andrew from It Came From The Page. So Andrew's channel never fails to make me laugh. I'm laughing just thinking about it. He's a very engaging host. He talks about really interesting books, particularly kind of novelisations and things like that. He is never afraid to let you know his opinion on things, and can be quite blunt in his dismissal of books he doesn't like, but he does it in an engaging and respectful way, and he's just endlessly amusing. And in particular, his cats are very funny indeed, and they may make an appearance later on in this list. So yeah, Funniest Paxy goes to Andrew from It Came From The Page. Next up, we have the Best Couple Award. So this one goes to a channel I've already mentioned, Pastory Time, hosted by the couple Bert and Sean. They're just lovely. They just seem like such lovely people, and they are so engaging to watch. I never fail to enjoy one of their videos, even when they're talking about books I wouldn't necessarily want to read. And they have a wonderful chemistry as well. The way they kind of bounce off each other is endlessly engaging and really enjoyable to watch. So yeah, Best Couple definitely goes to Bert and Sean. Next up, we have the YA Award, which is an award for a channel that particularly, champions YA fiction and in particular YA horror. So for this one, my go-to channel for YA horror is Monster Blood, hosted by Austin. I think Monster Blood is a fantastic channel. Austin is really knowledgeable about YA horror and kind of Goosebumps in particular. And his videos are really interesting. He always does a good job of bringing the books to life. They're not, Goosebumps and YA horror in particular is not something I've read a huge amount of. But watching the Monster Blood videos always makes me want to read more of them. So yeah, the YA award goes to Austin from Monster Blood. Next up, we have Best Pets. So there are so many channels that have good pets, that have good pet content as well as their book content. So MJ from Reading This Life, I've mentioned already. Her videos often feature her gorgeous dog Watson. The channel Book Blather is hosted by Olive and her human companion Dave, and Olive is a gorgeous little dog. I think she's a cockapoo. I might be wrong. I might be getting that completely wrong. But yeah, she's a lovely dog and always enjoyable to watch. And Dave's quite enjoyable to watch as well. But my favourite pets are the cats owned by or who live with Andrew from It Came From The Page. Andrew's cats seem to be quite disruptive. There's quite a lot of them. The volume of cats in Andrew's house seems to fluctuate up and down. I think he kind of fosters cats. But they are quite happy to go and knock his camera over while he's filming, or sit on his head, or all sorts of different things. So if you enjoy humorous cat content, if you enjoy cats being disruptive, then It Came From The Page is definitely the channel for you. Next up, we have the Sweetest Paxy Award. So this one I thought long and hard about, and I had a few different names I put against this one. But in the end, I've ended up with someone who I've known since fairly early on in my booktube journey, and who has constantly been supportive and friendly, and who I see doing that with loads of other channels as well. So just one of the most genuinely kind people I've met while I've been on booktube. A really lovely guy, and that is Gareth from the channel Book Songs and Other Magic. I know that Gareth, engages regularly with loads of different booktubers. He's always in people's comments. He frequently joins other people's live streams and things like that to support them. He was a big friend of Paxy's, and indeed in the Paxy Awards last year, Gareth provided a musical number, which was the kind of intermission during the awards. I'm afraid I don't have a musical number for this video. But yeah, Gareth, just a really supportive and lovely guy, and a really important part of the community. So definitely a worthy winner of the Sweetest Paxy Award. Next then we have the Down to Earth Paxy. So for this one I'm going to go with another channel that I've been watching for a long time, since early on in my booktube journey, and a channel that is endlessly enjoyable, but also hosted by someone who just to me epitomises down to earthness in terms of just her complete honesty about what she's reading, about her life, about the struggles she has and things like that. That person is Crystal from the channel Fibre Artsy, who's just a wonderful channel to watch. Reads really interesting books, reads a lot of books. Another person who's really, really supportive to loads of other channels, but who when you're watching her channel, you're getting, the unfiltered Crystal. And she will talk about whatever interests her. She's a big fan of K-pop, and one of the things she's been doing recently on the channel, which I've really enjoyed, is coming up with book recommendations for her favourite K-pop singers, which sounds to me, it's the sort of thing, if you said I'd be watching videos like that, I'd be like, why would I want to watch someone, talking about K-pop? But Crystal does it in such an engaging and genuine way that it's really fantastic to watch. So yeah, Crystal from Fibre Artsy wins the most down-to-earth Paxy. Next up we have Best Voice. So again, there are a few different people I thought about for this one, but the one I came back to, and this is someone who, as soon as I start one of her videos and hear her voice, I get that kind of warm feeling inside, and I know I'm going to have a kind of wonderful cozy 10 minutes watching her talk about books, and that's Gina Stania. So Gina, again, is one of those people who reads completely different books from me, but who I never get tired of watching talking about books. And she just has a lovely kind of warm, welcoming voice as well, which really makes her channel, I think, even better than it would have been anyway. It really fits the style of cozy books she talks about. Next up, we have the Background Paxy. So this is an award for someone who has the most interesting background. So you do get some people who do kind of really flashy backgrounds and things like that. But the background I find endlessly engaging to watch is Anne from the channel Anne Novella. So Anne's background is just a big stack of books, basically. So books kind of piled up behind her. They're kind of on shelves, but books are actually forming the supports for the shelves as well. At the moment, she's got Christmas lights and things like that all over them. But I just love staring at the background in Anne's videos while I listen to her talking about books. And hers is another channel that talks really widely about a real wonderful variety of different kinds of books, and certainly books I probably would have never have heard of if I didn't watch her channel. So yeah, Anne from Anne Novella wins Best Background. Next up, and we're getting towards the end now, we're kind of 3/4 of the way through. So next up we have the Makes You Think Paxy. So this is an award for someone whose videos make you think in a deeper way than maybe other people's videos do. So I'm certainly someone, I don't expect my videos to make people think. Hopefully what comes across in my videos is an enjoyment of reading, but I don't go too deep into stuff in my videos. A channel that does go deep, but does it in a really interesting and engaging way, is Joanna from the channel Joanna Reads. So Joanna's videos are often quite, like she's clearly very, very knowledgeable about the kind of book she talks about, and quite often discusses kind of psychology and psychological theory and things like that in her reviews, but does it in a very, very accessible way. That means that, you know, it never feels overwhelming or pretentious or anything like that. It feels like someone, you know, genuinely wanting to share something interesting with you, and I think that is the hallmark of a great booktube channel. Next then, we have New Kids on the Block, so channels that are like new channels that have sprung up this year that you really enjoy. So the one for me that stands out as a channel I watch time and again and always get something from is Alex Unabridged. So Alex does a fantastic job, again, of talking about quite a wide variety of different books, but also has a very professional kind of visual style to his videos. So uses lots of graphics and things like that, but does it in a way that's not kind of annoying or overwhelming. They just add to the overall quality of the videos. I think his channel is fantastic and well worth checking out. Next up, we have the Blowin Up Paxy. So this is for a channel that has achieved, you know, a significant amount of growth in the last year. For this one, this was a channel that I didn't realise had grown as much as it had until I was kind of looking at people's numbers, and that is Bookish. So Brian at Bookish is a fantastic host. Again, a really, really knowledgeable guy. Used to be a teacher, and you know, you can tell that he's used to talking intelligently but engagingly about books, which is exactly what he does in his channel. I think Brian's subscriber count has doubled in the last year, and it was already quite high. You know, he was already well into the thousands. So to have continued that growth is really, really impressive, especially because Brian admirably is someone who isn't afraid to talk about politics on this channel. So it's something that, you know, people sometimes, including me to an extent, you know, can shy away from. Brian will very openly talk about his political views, but explain them and give you, you know, the reasons why he believes certain things to be true, the reasons why he holds certain views. And he does it in a very knowledgeable and engaging and persuasive way. I think his channel is really, really excellent, and I'm pleased to see it continuing to grow. And as I say, I think it's grown even more this year. Moving on then, we have the Sprinter Extraordinaire Award. So this one goes to Sarah from the channel The Bookish Knitter. So Sarah hosts sprints regularly, both for patrons and for her regular viewers. And her sprints are always well attended and entertaining. I don't get to attend many sprints. I have joined at least one of Sarah's and really, really enjoyed the experience. If you don't know what a sprint is, it's where a booktuber will host like a live stream, and you just hang out and read books together, typically for kind of like 15-20 minute windows, and then have a bit of a chat and then read for another 20 minutes or so. So Sarah does these really, really well, and her channel, which specialises in kind of category romance fiction, is an excellent channel. Again, she's incredibly knowledgeable on her subject matter, as well as being a really engaging host. Okay, 2 more awards to go. So the next one is Best in Poetry. So Pax was a huge fan of poetry, and in particular horror poetry. I'm not a fan of poetry, so I'm not best placed to give an award for poetry. But one channel that consistently does poetry well, and a channel that I know that Pax loved, is Nymeria. So Nim is a poet herself. She also reads other people's poems on her channel regularly, and her poems are, you know, very heartfelt and moving. But also tap into that kind of horror vibe as well. So yeah, best poetry goes to Nymeria, which gets us to the final award, which is the Pax Panic Award for the best channel. And so my view of the best channel on BookTube at the moment. This is a really difficult one, because there are so many fantastic channels out there. I watch far more channels than I've been able to talk about in this video, and enjoy all of them. I don't always comment on the videos that I watch, but I do watch a lot of booktube videos. And there are so many wonderful channels out there that are, definitely worth your time, and that will help you to discover new books that you've never even heard of before. But the award, the channel I'm going to award the Pax Panic Award this year to is Michael K. Vaughan. So Michael is just a standout channel in my opinion. So one of those people whose channel is, he has a large subscriber count, which is very much deserved. He talks very knowledgeably about a wide range of books. He's incredibly engaging, so his videos, as well as being informative, are also always entertaining. Roger, his co-host, is definitely a part of that, but most of it is just Michael's engaging personality. And Michael does these deep dive videos he does sometimes where he'll talk about a particular author. And those videos are so well researched, so interesting to watch. I really do think that they're, aside from the kind of the entertainment value of BookTube, I do think the videos like that Michael does are like genuinely useful resources for readers who want to learn more about a particular author. So yeah, I think Michael's channel has always been fantastic, and all the time I've been watching it continues to be fantastic. And BookTube certainly wouldn't be the same place without him. So I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly didn't do as good a job of hosting a Paxy's video as Pax used to. Her energy and enthusiasm was completely infectious, and she was a wonderful, wonderful host. And yeah, many of us are still very, very sad that she is not with us. But yeah, let's remember her. Let's honour her memory. So if you're out there watching, if you're a booktuber and you fancy doing this tag, all of the different awards will be in the description for the video. And as I say, you can do as many or as few of them as you would like to. But also, if you're watching and you like the sound of some of the channels I've talked about, they'll all be linked in the description as well. So do go and check them out. Give them a subscribe. Watch some of their videos and see what you think. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. And as always, thanks very much for watching. I hope you're safe and well out there. I hope you're really good stuff. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.